I call to order the October 24th, 2023 public hearing and special meeting of the zoning subcommittee. The time now is 6:04 p.m. Ms. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderman Rutkowski.
Here.
Alderman Russell. Here. Alderwoman Costa. Alderwoman Ortiz Luna. Alderman Malinowski. Here. Alderman Pabon. Here. Alderman Dyson. Here. Alderman Skirpo. Alderman Segarra. Alderman Hargraves. Here. Alderman Ayalone. Alderwoman Sanchez. Alderman Smedley. Present. Alderman Thompson. Present. Alderman Catanzaro. 8 present. You have a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Clerk. Ms. Clerk, would you please read into the record the notice of the public hearing? Yes, Alderman.
Motion to waive the reading. Second.
Motion to waive the reading made by Alderman Thompson and second by Alderman Dyson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The reading is waived. Having been notified properly, we'll begin the public hearing. Please remember to state your name and address for the record and limit your speaking to 3 minutes. The first item for the public hearing is item number 36224, to amend the official zoning map to change the B1 district located at 527 Birch Street to A2 district. Are there any speakers for this item? Are there any speakers for this item? Are there any speakers for this item? Seeing no speakers, we will move on to the next item. Yes?
Yes, I'm not sure how it works, but I got some.
Okay, but this item number 1?
That's 527 Birch Street.
Okay. Would you like to step up, please? There was a sign-up sheet, sir, but no problem.
Oh, I didn't see it, but I'll sign up on it if you want.
Oh, you could just
Just approach, please, your name for the record and address, please.
My name's Bob Leach. Address is 38 Miller Street, New Britain, Connecticut. I own the property on 527 Birch Street. And I got this notice in the mail. I was surprised to see it without like a phone call first. But I tracked down to the town hall where it originated from. It was Robert Smedley. I did call him, and he never got back to me. He said, send me some stuff. I sent it to him, but I never heard back what was going on. I've been paying commercial rate of taxes now for, I think, 20-something years I owned that property. I own a construction company. I was going to use my office in the front of that. It never happened. Then I kept it for... son wants to open a fish store. He's in college now. He's big into fish. But I've been paying the taxes on that commercial rate for 20-something years. If it's going to get back to residential, I don't know. I think I should get compensated or something for paying those 20 years. I know it's going to reduce in taxes to residential, but that's not going to help me for what I planned on using it for and what I kept it for. And I figured I don't know, I would have got a phone call before even I'm here right now. Before this would even get drafted. Like, hey, Mr. Leach, could we talk to you about your property on Birch Street? I don't know, I've owned a lot of stuff in town. That's a property I've had for a long time. My family's got a lot of stuff in town, and I've just been paying for it for a long time. So I don't know what the deal is. Like I said, I reached out. I never heard nothing back to what is going to happen, how everything's going to work out, how everything's going to pan out. So I'm thinking that maybe we take a little time, we can discuss it and figure out, something that's equal on both sides instead of just you're done. It ain't commercial anymore. And I guess that's all I got to say. I could sign up. I didn't see a sign-up sheet, but I could sign up if you want.
You're all set, sir, with that.
All
I
right.
already got you down.
Well, thanks for my time.
Is there any other speakers on item number 1?
Yes.
Step up, please, sir. Your name and address for the record, please.
Mike Semsta, 20 Capitol Avenue. I just wanted things clarified. You're changing the zoning for what reason? I mean, it's not crystal clear as actually what's going to happen. I mean, there's a proposal to change the zoning. Why? Because someone wants to change to do what? So that's my objection. Everything isn't crystal clear here.
we'll have a discussion on that after the public participation is over, and Mr. Jack Benjamin here from the Economic Development Office is here tonight.
Okay, fine. Thanks.
You're welcome, sir. Are there any other speakers for item number 1? Seeing no speakers, we will move on to the next item. The next item is item number 36225, to amend the official zoning map to change the B1 district located on East Street, south of Ellis Street, and to the north of Bingham Street to B1R district. Are there any speakers? Are there any speakers? Are there any speakers? Seeing no speakers, we will move on to the next item. The third item is item number 36226, to amend the official zoning map to change the B1 secondary business district generally located of the northwest of the intersection between North Street and Stanley Street to B3 neighborhood mixed use district. Are there any speakers for this item? Are there any speakers for this item? Are there any speakers for this item? Seeing no speakers, we will move on to the next item, item number 4. Item number 4 is 36227, to amend the official zoning map to change the B1 secondary business district located at 683 Osgood Avenue to T District Residential. Are there any speakers for this item? Yes, I believe you guys did sign up. Please come up, ma'am.
Bear with me, because I have a lot of experience with this building. I bought the building in 1985. I think 35
I'm sorry,
years.
your name and address, ma'am, for the record.
Okay, sure. I'm Julia Diaz. I'm a retired teacher from the Harvard School System, single mother. I raised my son by myself. I earned...
I'm sorry, ma'am, your address?
407 Middle Road in Farmington. I earned 2 masters in education while I was, having a, I get nervous, and that's how I.
No worries, take your time.
I had a business, la tienda, ¿cómo se dice? Yeah, I got a little.
Please come up,
too-
sir.
But I want to speak,
Go ahead.
my experience. A convenience store.
No worries.
Yeah.
Yeah, my name is Christian Puente, for the record, 407 Middle Road. Similar to this gentleman here, the way that it was brought upon, like notifying us, I think it's, I would say, it's not professional, A call after 34 years of having a commercial building in this city I think would be respectful. Just the fact that a piece of paper in the mail gets sent after 34 years of us paying taxes, similar to this gentleman. It's just not respectful. I think it's hey, I'm not here to change the practice, but either way, the thing that we're worried about is, one, we've owned this property for 34 years, commercial. It's been a staple in the community, whether it was
Convenience store.
a convenience store or now a place of worship that we have a deal with.
Temporarily, because it's not going to be permanent.
Either way, it's a place of the community. And you're saying that you guys want to change it to a residential. Well, one, the building is already built. The infrastructure is a commercial building. So it's just really just a slap in the face, I would say, 34 years here. It's a residential. Now you have to tear down the building, spend money that who knows if we have. It's just...
You can finish talking, but I think that you're under a misconception that someone's going to make you tear it down.
Well, no, if you turn it to residential, it's commercial, but who's going to live do you want to live in a commercial building?
In a
But
convenience
what's
store.
gonna-
Building.
Yeah, we're going to have to finish the public participation, then we'll be able to
Okay.
address you and have a discussion about how all that works.
Okay.
Okay?
Sorry, I didn't know the
It's okay.
cadence. But I appreciate you guys being patient with me. It's the first time I've done this before, so. But yeah, I just want to make it really known that we've been a part of the community and we've offered community services. I mean, the minister we're working with currently, who's who's on a lease, he does car washes for the community. If they have cancer, they have fundraising. I mean,
And
that
he
building has
cancer.
been,
He has cancer, too.
anyways, it's like I said, it's a building where we definitely don't want it to be residential. We want it to be the same. We don't want any changes.
We want to
And
open a business.
It's
yeah.
okay, please. And the thing is, I mean, on the contrary, we've had no support from you guys. Before there was housing across the street, tore it down. That was an influx of our building. And I saw in the whatever the notes is that there was a low traffic. Well, the low traffic was caused by whoever closed down the housing, right? I mean, that's how it works, right? That we had plenty of traffic until the housing across the street was closed down. And on top of that, you guys have put an industrial plant or something. I mean, the traffic is low because of the actions that you guys have caused. We've shut down the business, a convenience store before, because we had the traffic there. And we just feel like it's really just, I mean, enough's enough. I mean, we don't want any changes. We just want to live our lives with this building and the way that we've had it for 34 years, so.
And I just want to talk about my expenses with the place. It was a convenience store for 10 years, and I was working as a school teacher, and I was also running my convenience store. And it was very hard, you know, like to earn a master, to have a young son of 5 years old, and running, and running the store and teaching at the same time and doing my 2 masters. And I experienced hardship, and I overcame all that hardship because I wanted to build my son's future, the one that he just, you saw. And if I'm just afraid that if you put something in there that is not related to business, I'm going to lose my building. I'm going to lose my business because I have plans for him, and he has plans for himself too with the place. And we were planning, we were talking together, planning together to come into the town hall to see a planner, to see what business we can open in that area that would be beneficial to the community. And, but I spent my annuity money paying my taxes. I took $60,000 out of my annuity to pay a second person that the town hall gave because I couldn't cope with, with the expense of the taxes. So I took all that money, all my saving and everything went into my store, into my place, into my building. That's what I call it, a building. And, which is not a building, it's just a flat.
Parking area.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, ma'am.
And also, I want to mention that I experienced also the, people coming in from every place around New Britain and trashing my place. And I came and I asked for help at the town hall, and I was never supported for that. And I ended up, like hiring people to come and clean it up. The last person that I leased the store to was someone that was not convenient. So I went to the police and I made a report. I said, I'm a school teacher, I don't want to lose my job, and this guy are doing something that is not legal. So then I stopped, the lease. Well, I interrupted the lease, and I said, like, if you don't move out of this place, I'm going to have to involve my lawyer in this. And that's the reason he moved out of the place. And after that, he became a church because I wanted to clear the area. That area was, there was a lot of things going on when the housing project was in there, I know. And I put myself through so many situations with the community, helping them, supporting them, building, some of the people that lived in that neighborhood, they were my students. And I always tried to reach them to advise them to do better. And they did do better. Some of them became engineers.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that. We have to move on.
Okay.
You're welcome, ma'am. Seeing no further speakers, we move on to the next item, item number 5. Item number 5 is 36228, to amend the official zoning map to change the T residential district located along East Street between Newington Avenue, Road Street to TODEM1, Transit Oriented Development, East Main Street District. Are there any speakers for this item? Are there any speakers for this item? Please step up, sir.
Evening. My name is Donald Verano. I live at 648 East Street, better known as the East Street Dragway. We have changed my side of the East Street, I live on the corner of Florence and East Street to transit-oriented, and now I have a absolute fear going home at night of the traffic and the cars. East Street is going to be changed. East Main Street and Newton Avenue are changing with the name of the city, state, made straight. Why are we changing district now wait until the state does their job in making that street straight? Why change it now? See what they're going to get. You're changing it now because there's a church in that corner, and no one's going to buy that property so they can change it so they can build industrial stores other than what's down there in houses. That's why it's being changed. St. John's Church has been here for 50 years. Get along, no problem there, no traffic. You change my side street to transit-oriented district, and now I've got a problem with traffic, cars, kids, drugs. It's a streetway. If you had 3 accidents there already, 2 of them fatal. Why are we going to change what a peaceful town is? East Street's been peaceful, been quiet. No one can say that anymore. You have people that can be making us make news we don't want to make, which is move on to Britain. I've been here all my life. 70 years of my life I've been here, and you're making us move our houses. It's a trap. It's dangerous. We don't need any more houses, no more businesses there. Church is fine, houses maybe, but not anything else other than that. No business. It's dangerous now. Why change it? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other speakers? Seeing no other speakers, we move on to the next item, item number 6. Item number 6 is 36229, to amend section 220 of the zoning ordinances to remove curb service type eating establishment from the prohibited use list. Are there any speakers for this item? Are there any speakers for this item? Are there any speakers for this item? Seeing no speakers for this item, we will close the hearing and move on to the regular meeting. The time now is 6:21. And the first item on the regular agenda is item number 36224, to amend the official zoning map to change the B1 Secondary Business District located at 527 Burr Street to A2 Multifamily Housing Moderate District. May I have a motion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Alderman.
I make a motion to refer to the council with a favorable recommendation, item 36224.
Motion to refer with the favorable recommendation made by Alderman Smedley, second by Alderman Russell. At this time, I would like to call up Jack Benjamin to make the presentation and to read into the record the City Plan Commission's recommendations.
Good evening, Jack Benjamin, Director of Planning and Development. So we're going to give you a brief presentation in a minute, but first I want to talk about a few things that these zone changes tonight are and are not. They are attempting to bring more properties into compliance with the underlying use. We've heard from a few folks tonight whose properties are currently out of compliance. This is hoping to bring that into compliance. We are also tasked with removing spot zones, which means individual parcels that are zoned differently than the district around them. This is also attempting to do that. To clear up a few misconceptions, number one, this does not tax anybody differently. You change the zone of a property, that doesn't change anything they have to do with their property. You are not taxed a different rate. It will not impact the bottom line with people's taxes. Number two, it does not force any of these folks or anybody who owns property being rezoned to take any sort of action with their property. To the contrary, it's helping to bring these properties into compliance. We'll show you an example with a business spot zone in a second, in which the current use, which is residential with no business, wouldn't be allowed. The owner would have to come in front of the Zoning Board of Appeals for variances. We are trying to eliminate the need to do that. All right, so we're talking about 5 boundary changes and 1 text change tonight.
Jack, can you give us a second to catch up with our computers?
Certainly.
I seem to be the only one struggling. I think you have to hit the 2 button to get his presentation, the one on the right, closest to the blue light. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so because we're touching a few different zones tonight that are currently zoned as B1, we wanted to give you examples of what a B1 zone is. They're strip malls, they have big setbacks, they're for car-oriented uses, they're for high-traffic areas, they require major dimensional conformity that none of these currently B1 zoned parcels comply with. Our attempt to change the B1 zones tonight to the select zones that we have, and we're about to show you in detail, is again to help bring properties into conformity. The ability to do that is going to prevent folks who own these properties from having to approach the Zoning Board of Appeals for variances. We'll go through the boundary changes. So the first one on Bird Street, this is two things. Number one, it is a spot zone. We are tasked with reducing the amount of spot zones in the city. This one is also a B1 zone. If this property was to conform with B1, you wouldn't be able to fit that building on the lot. Residential would not be allowed. With the current use being residential, bringing it into A2 is bringing it into conformity. The A2 standards, the dimensional standards required by an A2 zone, are very close to fitting with this property. Nobody's taxes will be impacted by this zone change. Yes, Alderman
So
Smedley.
It's currently zoned as what? I'm sorry?
B1, which has
B1.
very large, it's 25-foot front yard, it's 15-foot side yards. This property doesn't
So
comply
like
with.
a car lot.
It's a car lot, yeah.
Okay.
It's a
And
strip mall.
Changing it to A2 is what type of zone?
A2 is residential.
Okay.
It doesn't impact taxes. If anything, it brings the current residential use into compliance
Is
with
a
the zone.
homeowner permitted to have a small office set up in their home to work from home out of?
We can work with that homeowner.
Okay. Thank you.
This is the B1R district on East Street. Again, this is a change from B1 to B1R. With B1, none of these properties comply. None of them comply with setbacks. Only about 25% comply with use standards. B1R includes both business uses and residential. About 60 to 75% of the parcels in this zone are residential. This is bringing more properties into compliance. This is allowing people to reinvest in their properties without having to come in front of the Zoning Board of Appeals for a variance. This is a B1 to B3 zone change. This is in anticipation of potentially some park improvements in the area. Again, this is changing things from what is an auto-centric strip mall use to being a more business and neighborhood-friendly use. On the corner of North and Stanley, that building right there is a traditional B3 use. It is close to the sidewalk. It is a mix of uses, both residential and commercial. That's why this is a neighborhood mixed-use district. That's what B3 intends to do. Again, bringing properties into compliance.
Through you, Mr. Chair, this boundary change solely affects 238 North Street, which the city already owns.
238 and then adjacent to it, which is Stanley Street address.
The 250, the one on the corner?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
But again, that's B1.
B1
that
to
building
B3.
is a
Understood.
classic B3 building.
Okay.
Again, we are tasked with eliminating spot zones. This is a spot zone. It is a business district in the middle of a residential district. A church operating in a T-zone is allowable. This does not change the current use. This does not force the owners to do anything differently. This is TOD-EM1, which is impacting 5 parcels, not 648 East Street. The 5 parcels impacted are in anticipation of potentially the sale of the St. John's parcel. It's a tough site. We are working on finding the money from the federal government to do a realignment of this intersection. The Z-curve is unsafe. It's tough to navigate. It's unsafe for both pedestrians and vehicular traffic. We put in a $12.75 million grant to the federal government last month in conjunction with the Department of Public Works to straighten out this roadway and make improvements. We have one text change tonight. So this came up recently because we have potential businesses going in that are doing more curbside service. Curbside service has been on the list of prohibited uses in the city for a while now. With COVID, people started to move to curbside service in a number of different places. We have existing businesses, including ice cream shops, Sahadi's, and now the new Taste Buds on Walnut, which are curbside service. We are also working on a food truck ordinance, which is long overdue for the city to try to bring some safeguards and regulations around citing food trucks in certain areas. Food trucks are curbside or curb front service, so repealing this from the list of prohibited uses is the goal. We talked about potentially varying from the list of prohibited uses, but as soon as you do a variance on a prohibited use, it starts to undermine the authority of the list of prohibited uses. All right, so that covers everything.
Through you,
Director
Mr.
Lund?
Chair, Mr. Benjamin,
Yeah,
just a
sure.
question, because we already have established language for food trucks. Can you just clarify why this text change is important here?
Yeah, so this is going to sort of build more guidelines and regs around it. There's not a separate food truck ordinance and zoning. Under health, in the Code of Ordinances, there are some regulations around location of food trucks, but this is to establish more regulations, and this is to try to permit them in more places.
I want
Yes.
to reword that. This is to establish the ability to allow food trucks to operate legally.
Yes, but without the language in the zoning code, we really can't do that. We would have to vary for it, and again, we're trying to reduce the number of variances we entertain or grant.
Thank you.
Okay? So for the first item, for the record, we'll read the city plan's recommendation. This is item 362241. The City Plan Commission recommends approval of the zoning map change. The subject parcel is a B1 spot zone surrounded by low and medium density residential uses. The property is also non-conforming to the B1 district with regards to building setbacks and the use itself. Residential use is not permitted in B1. The driveway and parking area for the building are located on a separate parcel in the adjacent A2 district, which includes this parcel as well.
Thank you, Mr. Benjamin. Any discussion? Alderman?
I got a question for Mr. Benjamin. I don't know if you answer this or the tax guy does, but now, once you change these, are the taxes going to go up or lower?
Zone
Or
change
stay
does
the
not
same?
impact taxes. Zone
It
changes
does
do not impact taxes. There's no, I mean, in Connecticut, there's no separate rate for whether it's a commercial or it's real and personal property
Okay.
is how it's taxed. This hopefully gives the owner more leeway to do something there. A B1 zone wouldn't allow residential, so that impacts the owner's ability to have housing on the site.
So here's a real question. So we're doing them a favor.
We're trying to. We're trying to. We're trying to bring more parcels into conformity, reduce the number of variances and public hearings.
How many units are you proposing to put on the parcel?
Well, sir,
But that is a good question. This is not, this planning work right here is not in anticipation of any work to be done. This is trying to help current owners come into conformity. So should they want to do anything with their property, they will not have to approach the zoning board of appeals.
okay. Counselor, I'd like to invite the gentleman to explain him a few things so he understands better. Would you like to come up, sir?
Can't do that.
That's okay. Your original question, sir.
My
No,
original-
sir, normally this is not done and not permitted. I will allow it because I want you to understand what's happening. The zoning change does not affect that property per se. What it lets him, because it's commercial right now, right? So he
Correct.
can't have any apartments there. He would have to go in front of zoning board of appeals to be able to put apartments there. He's got a non-conforming building. Do you understand what that means, sir?
I understand what that means.
Okay, so, sir, right now, if we pass this, that gentleman back there can have residentials in that building and will not have to go through in front of zoning board of appeals. But he doesn't have to do that. No one's making him, okay? It's
Fine.
up to him to do what he wants in the building. Right now, he's gonna have a building that's non-conforming, which is okay. But in the future, because there's no commercial in that area, he can make it into residential.
I just want to say one thing. I've been living in this town for quite a few years. I've seen these done quite often. And what ends up happening, after a while, they drop an apartment block in there, and the whole neighborhood changes. I've seen this happen throughout the city. Everybody has self-interest, and I've seen this happen quite a few times. I don't want to see this happening again.
Well, I don't think they're gonna be able to put an apartment building on that piece of land.
That's what they said about a lot of properties, and guess what? All of a sudden, there's an apartment block going in there. There's all kind of problems later on down the road.
Question is, how many units can go in?
There-
Presentation is over. It's the council, it's the committee that's holding the hearing now, so he cannot speak from the public.
I've seen a lot of underhanded things done with the
Right.
city in the past.
To answer your question, sir, I believe that's a two-unit building?
I don't know if I can talk. Am I gonna be able to talk again? I got questions about what this guy said. I don't know how it works.
I understand that, yeah. I opened up the cans of worms. I'm sorry.
Well, she's saying that I can't talk again, so I don't know.
Mr. Chairman, motion for a short recess, please.
Can we have a short recess, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Shut your microphones off.
I understand. I know. Well, that's what it sounds like to me, so I'd like to ask some more questions. I don't understand why you get, like, we already talked about this beforehand. It's like, oh, here you go, you're fucked. I don't know. Buddy, I'm Jack. Jack. Nice to meet you. This is Listen, I got a couple problems. Yeah. There's one, why is all this going on right now? Like, why are you picking all these things? What is the end goal? Trust the city's zones. So why is it like all of a sudden now it's gotta be done?
This is so like a fourth round of updates we've done over the last. It's always, yeah, no, this is probably the fourth round of updates we've done over the last.
Right, yeah. Well, I'm not understanding why someone called me first and talk about this. Okay. It's like, oh, well, here you go, you're like, we're rezoning.
I get that.
All right, so you're saying my taxes are well, I've been paying for property for 27 years. My taxes right down the street, on the street of my house, are a hell of a lot lower than they are up on Bird Street, because it's commercial.
So in your case, that's not, there's no difference in Connecticut, it's real and personal property.
Why are the taxes so much higher there? They're 3 times as much as my house.
That's evaluation. That's not, that has nothing to do with because it's a commercial transaction. It's the condition, you are not, it's valuation. This is an attempt to make people's lives.
Well, I mean, I think this should have been easier if we, like we discussed it before, like, so, I mean, I don't know, I'd like to talk to you, it's not far from mine. And that'd be like saying, like, all right, now your friend's shop starts right? Like, she's in a residential. So I'd like to talk to him and be like, hey, what's that? I haven't been that place open for, I mean, I have like a 6-bay garage here that I use for my business. I can put a sign on it tomorrow that goes for general instruction. Would that help? Would that keep it?
So, with one, when you feel like person involved, it's a tough situation.
But I can't have commercial, is what you're saying. If you change that.
You can do it in much more. With the office, we're operating an office out of there. With A2, we have home office.
What about one of my, one fish store? How would I have that if it's?
It wouldn't necessarily happen.
Why would even need, why is this, I don't even know why you're cherry picking these of that, it's like all of a sudden they all got.
It's a squad zone, it's a single parcel, surrounded by a bigger building.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're supposed to.
I mean, it was a meat market for, you know, 50 years.
Yeah, it was last time we bought the
I would say, right when I bought it, 20 years ago. But I've been paying the taxes on it for the 20 years. Yeah, so you're saying you jam me with the high taxes? Listen, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. You're like, oh, no, it's not commercial, but my taxes are through the roof on that thing. It's 3 times as much as my residential house, which is a much nicer house on the bottom of the street.
This actually doesn't change your taxes.
Exactly. That's one of the problems that happen with it. It should, if you want to be like, all right, you can't have commercial. This will be you. Listen, I know you've been paying high taxes for 20 years. Boy, what if work out a deal to turn around and make it worth so much? Not so. I bought it for my business, but I never really needed to. So, my son was like, whatever. And that's why in the cellar, where all the ups and downs. Just like that. After all those years of paying.
Just let you know, either way, when we look at the zoning.
You know everything. I do? Well, I mean, don't you need building here? Well, before I separate.
Why would I get here? It's Well, I'm just saying, it just seems like this should have been all last time.
That's okay, and I understand the concern.
Well, thanks for coming.
No, no worries, no worries.
Yeah, but that's variance for what? So you get, you still have a site plan, you still have a facility, you may very well just that.
I just don't know why there's like a change on this. Like, we tried to solve this, and he never got back to me, so that makes me a little like, every. I figured you were.
Oh, really? I have no idea for these, because I've never had a demonstration going there. But generally, like, we do. Yeah, I'm actually gonna try to, I can see that. We see a
So somebody must have said this to him.
I usually cover these meetings.
When you do a public development, there are one of the major
So my neighbor, all members of
But I never got any complaints on my property. No,
you don't.
Yes. Yes, and in the past, Terrell has not limited.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Either way, these guys both are
Yeah, it's easier, I can tell you, because I don't think, the way you play the one, probably entertained enough. I mean, with the 18 different windows for retail, speed one, the both of them, it's just a bigger, to me, that's one, to them, that's a bigger.
bo specjalnie powiedzieli.
It's not, so open space is telling you that it's 300, and that lot is how many square feet?
Because that lot's attached to the lot next to it. And then there's a third lot on 116, so that's split the garage.
So, I mean, that would give you a lot more density, I don't know if it's a, what's the
There's three lots.
You can probably do up to, you can do up to, you can take product and partial to the center.
Yeah, that's what my concern is.
Right.
I know there's the large, unfinished ground.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree, and you have to probably comply with the whole, I gotta run these.
No problem, thanks for your time. Somebody said this is their mouth.
Powinno siedzieć, zgłosić, że się straszy z takimi rzeczami, że w razie jak się coś takiego
Yeah.
stanie.
What I'm saying is, it's something. Broad ago, yes. 2 years ago. Let's answer specifically easier, because we don't know, we don't want to. So that falls under variance to talk about. Variance. So if you actually want to do that, you should. So, you know, that's why I don't trust these guys. Yeah, that's right. This is based on what? I know that, but I got a house right there. That just is might affect my future. I mean, maybe I'll never do it. No, I'm serious. I mean, it's more than just a partial. Yeah, but it's cooler. It's cooler. It's not so even for some of those businesses, like you were saying, a lot of those are we're just spitballing. So I'm not saying it's going to be that or that. I'm simply saying in general, I don't want to be limited to what I currently am not limited to. Right? That's all I'm saying.
I kind of just open the store there. I would not be able to do that. No. You know, there's a lot of people on the line. I think you should coming down the pipes on that, like, down and there's bonds right there. Then you could blast a big chunk right
I get it, it's a spot. Check out these spots where they're market. These spots are people's last name, but it's not
A quick question, just real quick. This is St. John's Church. I live right here.
Yeah.
Okay. If this road gets moved, the plan is that this gets on this way, so the to be going down.
Yeah.
What happens? This will not get changed then to automatically because it's in the zone?
No, what this is, so I'll tell you, because this is all state road we're dealing with here too. So when it's gonna kind of go like that, right? Just to make it really simple, that's gonna have a surplus, which is gonna be state land, and that's gonna end up being, this is all T-zone right now, so that little pocket right there is gonna stay T-zone. Right. If they want, if somebody wants to come in and change that to TOD, that'll have to be a sort of manual process.
Because this is all TOD here, TOD.
Yeah, it is already TOD. Yeah.
Trust me, I know. Trust me.
Yeah.
Because there was a convenience store right there. I fought like hell.
What, at 52, at 62?
Did not go there.
Yeah.
Because I can't get down to my own street. I had to come in this way.
Just to let you know, the goal here too is when we do this realignment, we're gonna end up with some surplus land, and then the deal is basically, because the city's moving the public works out here, we wanna put more parking here so that people can access business and stop parking all over the place too. So that's, I mean, that's the longer term. I know there's some growing pains right now, especially with that corner, but we're gonna have some property here, and we'll hopefully find somebody to come develop and do the parking area too. That's, well, that's only one. That's only the church. That's not houses. So these are all going to stay T. That's all staying T. And then that's the fire station. And that's the pizza place. Pizza place you can't have in a T zone. So again, it's trying to bring things into conformity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. No worries. Hey. Huh? Yeah, I think we're all set. Yeah. Yeah, we're good with that. Thank you.
Yeah. I call to order the Subcommittee on Zoning for Common Council. It's not time now, 6:49. We are still on item number 3624. Is there any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion,
Can I discuss more? Is this on the same one?
no, there is no back and forth, sir, anymore.
Well, I don't think it's right that, like, I get 3 minutes at the beginning, and I don't even know what's going on, and then he explains what's going on, and there's no...
Mr.
Sir.
Chair, through you.
Sir, Jack Benjamin's right here. He can answer any questions you like.
Sure, so just a little bit of clarification that I think is worth everybody hearing. So, on the issue of spot zones in general, we're not only tasked by our local plan to eliminate them because of nonconformity in greater districts, but it's also Connecticut general statutes. So it's a process. I know folks have had questions, why now? It's something we've been working on for a year. This is really our fourth major round of zoning changes. And again, this was the spot zones that we initially worked on eliminating was an attempt to bring properties into more conformity. I know there are a bunch of different ways to skin a cat on that, but in general, that was the attempt. And again, we're under state direction to eliminate spot zones.
Thank you, Mr. Benjamin. Seeing no for Alderman Hargraves.
Just for the record, this is a recommendation that goes to the full council. If anybody wants to speak to the full council, that meeting is tomorrow at 7, where this item will be taken up by the full council. So you can speak tomorrow at 7 p.m. in public participation at that point. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Alderman. And I also like to say that I suggest for any of you parties involved, call Jack Benjamin's office tomorrow and have a lengthy discussion with him as well. Thank you. Seeing no further discussion, the motion to refer with the favorable recommendation. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. The second item on the agenda is item number 36225, to amend the official zoning map to change the B1 Secondary Business District located on East Street, south of Ellis Street, and to the north of Bingham Street to B1R, Neighborhood Business Revitalization District. May I have a motion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Alderman.
I make a motion to refer to the council with a favorable recommendation, item 36225.
Motion to refer with a favorable recommendation made by Alderman Smedley, seconded by Alderman Thompson. At this time, I'd like to call up Jack Benjamin to read into the record the City Plan Commission's recommendation.
City Plan Commission recommends approval of the zoning map change. This section of East Street is predominantly comprised of low-density residential uses with retail uses located at each intersection. The residential uses are not permitted in the B1 district and are non-conforming, and many do not meet the front setback requirement. This can create additional challenges for residents seeking to improve their properties. The proposed B1R district is well suited for this area as it accommodates both residential and small-scale business uses and will establish compliance along this section of East Street.
Thank you, Mr. Benjamin. Is there any discussion? Seeing no further discussion, the motion to refer with the favorable recommendation. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. The third item on the agenda is item number 36226, to amend the official zoning map to change the B1 Secondary Business District, generally located at the northwest of the intersection between North Street and Stanley Street, to B3, Neighborhood Mixed Use District. May I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to accept and refer to the full council with a favorable recommendation, item 36226.
Motion to refer with the favorable recommendation made by Alderman Smedley, seconded by Alderman Russell. At this time, I'd like to call Mr. Benjamin for the city plan's recommendation.
City Plan Commission recommends approval of the zoning map change. B3 is a neighborhood mixed-use district with design standards that contribute to walkability and the pedestrian environment. This small pocket of B1 is bounded by B3 on North and Stanley Streets and is adjacent to the Central Business District. The type of development characteristic to this area is medium and high-density residential uses as well as mixed uses, which are compatible with the B3 district. The B1 district does not permit mixed uses and is generally an auto-centric business district.
Thank you, Mr. Benjamin. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman?
Alderman Smedley?
Mr. Benjamin, can you explain what auto-centric means?
Sure. So again, like we discussed with the B1 zone, it has large setbacks, it has greater parking requirements, buildings have to be set back behind parking area. This is an attempt to bring, again, the corner building on the corner of Stanley and North into compliance, as that is definitely not a B1 building, an attempt to build a little bit more walkability around this corner of North Street.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, the motion to refer with the favorable recommendation. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. The fourth item on the agenda is item number 36227, to amend the official zoning map to change the B1 Secondary Business District located at 683 Osgood Avenue to T Residential District. May I have a motion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Alderman.
I make a motion to accept and refer to full council with a favorable recommendation, item 36227.
Motion to refer with the favorable recommendation by Alderman Smedley and seconded by Alderman Thompson. At this time, I would like to call up Mr. Benjamin once more to read into the record the city plan's recommendation.
The City Plan Commission recommends approval of the zoning map change. The site is a B1 spot zone, parcel surrounded by single-family houses in the S3 and T districts. The B1 district is generally found along auto-centric business corridors with moderate traffic levels to support the businesses located there. The section of Osgood Avenue ends at Interstate 84 and is a low-traffic area that is not conducive to retail or commercial use. The T district permits low-density residential use that is compatible with the POCD live-sustained policy area and surrounding development.
Thank you, Mr. Benjamin. Any discussion? Seeing no further discussion, the motion to refer with the favorable recommendation. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. The fifth item on the agenda is item number 36228, to amend the official zoning map to change the T Residential District located along East Street between Newington Avenue and Road Street to TODEM1, Transient Oriented Development East Main District. May I have a motion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Alderman.
I make a motion to accept and refer to the full council with a favorable recommendation, item 36228.
Motion to refer with the favorable recommendation made by Alderman Smedley, seconded by Alderman Pabon. At this time, I'd like to call up Mr. Benjamin once more to read into the record the city plan's recommendation.
City Plan Commission recommends approval of the zoning map change. The primary area of the zone change includes a large church property that is actively on the market and located in the T district. Applying the TODEM1 to this area will facilitate redevelopment that is compatible with the surrounding area and uses. The TODEM1 allows for residential uses as well as certain business uses and also contains design standards to ensure quality development.
Thank you, Mr. Benjamin. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Alderman.
I just want to talk about this one a little bit more in depth, because I respect the fact that residents have lived in our city for as long as they have and have worked hard to live in our city as long as they have. When it comes to situations like this, we heard from some folks here that the neighborhood and the streets have become unsafe, the accidents and the crime and things like that. We've taken steps as a city to start to improve that. We chose to remodel Chamberlain Elementary School, which changes the neighborhood. We are choosing to transition this area to a transit-oriented district, which will change the area. It will improve the traffic flow, pedestrian crossings and areas, pocket parks and things like that for pedestrian use will come into play here. And this is going to be one of the better improvements. And this is not an all-of-a-sudden overnight improvement. I've been on the council now for 10 years. We talked about this when I first got elected in 2013. This was part of the original transit-oriented development presentations. There were probably 10-plus public presentations held in the police station, throughout the community, in this room, related to transit-oriented development. And this is one of the final phases of that project that was talked about and advertised and discussed ad nauseum. So I apologize if this is a surprise to anyone here in this room tonight, but this is one of the better changes that I have seen come out of TOD, transit-oriented development, and I intend to support that. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Quick question for my own personal gain. TODEM1 versus TODEM2.
TOD EM1 is slightly higher density with slightly more flexible dimensional requirements. Use standards are really similar between EM1 and 2. The other major TOD zones in the city are TOD ES1 and TOD ES2, and that's East Street 1 and 2, and those dimensional standards reflect the same as EM1 and 2.
So basically, no curb cuts? Is that what that means?
No, it does have some impact on parking, but there's really very little difference in parking requirements between EM1 and 2. It's more about general density, and single-family homes are allowed in EM2, but not 1.
No single-family homes?
No
EM1.
single-family homes in TOD EM1, but in TOD EM2.
Got it. Thank you very much, Mr. Benjamin. We're in 5, right? Yeah. Seeing no further discussion, the motion to refer with the favorable recommendation. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Next item is item number 6. Item number 36229, to amend section 220 of the zoning ordinances to remove curb service type eating establishments from the prohibited use list. May I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to accept and refer to council with a favorable recommendation, item 36229.
The motion to refer with the favorable recommendation made by Alderman Smedley, seconded by Alderman Thompson. At this time, Mr. Benjamin, would you please read into the record the City Plans Commission's recommendation?
Certainly. City Plan Commission recommends approval of the zoning text amendment. Removing drive-in, open front, or curb service type eating establishments as a prohibited use will allow restaurants to better serve their customers by providing convenient dining and pickup options. It also allows businesses to take advantage of the natural environment by having outdoor seating.
Thank you, Mr. Benjamin. Any discussion? Yes, Alderman.
Jack, I got a question for you. Once we approve these, say pass this through tomorrow, whatever, when would these take effect?
Immediately.
Immediately? Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Benjamin. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, the motion to refer with the favorable recommendation. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay.
Mayor?
Motion carries.
Motion to adjourn.
May I make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn by Alderman Smedley, second by Alderman Russell. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned at 7:01 p.m.
See you later. Stay here for PZH to make sure it goes through.
Peace, sister.
See you tomorrow. Chris, you gotta stay. Alden, you gotta stay.
No shit.
Jarrell, you gotta stay.
Some more time, the mic. I call to the order the October 24, 23 public hearing on special meeting of the Committee on Planning and Zoning and Housing. The time now is 7:02 p.m. Ms. Clerk, will you please call the roll? Mike, you just had it. Yep.
Alderman Redkowski,
Here.
Alderman Russell, Alderman Ayalone, Alderman Hargraves, Alderman Malinowski, Alderwoman Sanchez, Alderman Sagara. There are 4 present. You have a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Clerk. Ms. Clerk, would you please read into the record the notice of the public hearing?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to waive the reading.
Motion to waive the reading made by Alderman Malinowski, seconded by Alderman Russell. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries. The reading is waived.
Mr. Chair, I just want to recognize myself as seated in the meeting still. Thank you.
It's okay. We miss him a lot, too. And Alderman Dyson.
We usually leave.
They're both here, surprisingly. Having been notified properly, we will begin the public hearing. Please remember to state your name and address for the record and limit your speaking to 3 minutes. The item for the public hearing is item number 36235, the amend Chapter 20.5 Special District of the Code of Ordinances. Are there any speakers at this time? Are there any speakers at this time? Are there any speakers at this time? Seeing no speakers, we will close the public hearing and move on to the regular meeting. The time now is 7:04. And the first item on the agenda is item number 36235. Amend the Chapter 20.5 Special District of the Code of Ordinances. May I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that we accept and refer the motion, or the resolution back to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Alderman Hargreaves.
if we can just have an explanation on what this resolution will do.
Forget how to turn this on.
Good evening.
We're good,
It's
right?
on.
Good to go. Hello, good evening. I'll
Good
be quick. To answer your question, Alderman Hargraves, basically, if you have the resolution in front of you, 20.5, or City Ordinance 20.5, is the city ordinance that allows the New Britain Downtown District to exist in tandem with State Statute 105A. The modification to this specific part of the city ordinance, and again, if you have the resolution in front of you, it breaks the downtown district into 4 different zones. The modification would eliminate those zones and make it just recognized as one district. This was our bylaw committee made this favorable recommendation to our Board of Commissioners, which approved, and then ultimately referred it to our property owners at our annual meeting, which was also approved, so. Does that
Glad to hear.
clarify?
Any other questions? Nope. Seeing no further discussion, the motion to refer with the favorable recommendation. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Motion to adjourn by Alderman Hargreaves, seconded by Alderman Russell. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries.